What is good, everyone? It is Jet the Prophet here. Today we got some My Hero Academia hot takes. And before we get started with the video, make sure you make the best decision you can make all day by hitting a like, comment, subscribing, and sharing the video. But let's get into this. Alright, so the first hot take is from the boy Kingpin, and he says Deku getting the multiple quirks was something everyone should have seen a mile away. Yes, I agree with this. When people saw that Deku got multiple quirks, they were like, oh my god, he's got multiple quirks, oh my god, he's so overpowered, oh my god, this and that. They were complaining all day. But if you were actually paying attention, you would have seen that this was teased way back during the start of the series. I think a lot of people forget that One for All isn't a singular quirk. Matter of fact, it's two quirks put together. One half of the quirk is the stockpiling quirk, you know, where it stockpiles power. But then the other half of the quirk is the quirk to pass on quirks. But I think a lot of people just assumed that everyone with One for All just had no quirk because Deku and All Might didn't have a quirk. Like, did it ever just slip your mind that maybe someone with One for All had a quirk and then got One for All on top of it? Yeah, I know, you don't have to tell me, your mind is absolutely blown right now. But yeah, Deku having multiple quirks was teased at the very beginning of the series. So yeah, this hot take is actually right. Our next hot take is from the boy Beacon. He says, I think having class 1B more represented would have made the joint training arc much better because we barely knew about them. And yes, another hot take I agree with. Right now, answer me this question. Name me name me 6 characters from class 1B right now. That's right, you can't. Throughout the series, we've seen people like Monoma get jealous that Class 1A is getting all this attention fighting all these villains, and it's basically just made Class 1B seem inferior. And then all of a sudden during this arc, they're like somehow on the same level as Class 1A. Throughout the whole series, we've seen Class 1B just be relegated to sidemen, and now all of a sudden we're supposed to care about them? You know, I can sit here all day and talk about all the problems that the joint training arc has, but we don't have time for that. Just know it would have been better if we knew about Class 1B and actually addressed them as actual threats before they started slapping up Class 1A. The next hot take is from the boy Fluid Mojo, and he says, I'm beating All Might's ass. And no, this is not a hot take. This is pure fact. I've seen this man in real life. This man is huge. This man knows how to throw hands. This man is a lethal threat. The next hot take is Bakugo is heavily overrated by the fan base. He's good, sure, but people act like he's the best thing ever. Hey, listen here, sweetheart, sir, whatever. There's a reason why we call him Bakugo. Everything about Bakugo just screams peak, so you might think he's overrated. I think he's fairly rated. He has one of the best quirks. He has one of the best costumes in this series. He has some of the best writing in the entire series and one of the best arcs throughout the whole series. But we're leaving out the most important thing, and that is he has the hottest mom in the entire series. Alright, so our next hot take is Mirio deserves One for All way more than Deku. Now, I'll be the first man to admit it that Mirio is definitely worthy of One for All, but more than Deku? I don't know about that. Now, does Mirio need One for All to be a good hero? No, he's doing just fine with his ghost phase and quirk. The reason that Deku deserves One for All more than Mirio is because Deku is the essence of a true hero, someone that is willing to sacrifice themselves in order to save others. And the fact that he was willing to fight a superpowered villain with no powers whatsoever while all the other superpowered people didn't do anything just shows how much of a hero, how much of a true hero he really is. Once All Might saw that, he knew that Deku had the potential to be a great hero. He just needed the tools to do so. Alright, so the next hot take we have is Bakugo is the worst character and is basically just Sasuke. I cannot tell if you wrote this as a joke or you really are just a smooth-brained ignoramus, but please tell me you're joking with this. You really said Bakugo. Bakugo is the worst character when you have Mineta and Ojiro right there. And is basically Sasuke. Hey my man, do you got your helmet and seatbelt on? Because you're riding that Naruto dick really hard right now. Alright, so the next hot take we have is MHA should have been something like JoJo. Like in parts, we go through each One for All user's life. Now, I do disagree with this to an extent. Now, I do think the way that MHA is set up is perfectly fine. I think just going through Deku's life is perfectly fine, but this would be a great spinoff. Like, have each One for All user get like a 30-minute OVA. That would be fire, alright? So while I do disagree that this should have been the main series, I do agree that this should happen. We should see the One For All users' lives in some way, shape, or form. Alright, so the next hot take is old Midoriya deserves more love than new. Now, what are we talking about old Midoriya? Are we talking about this Midoriya or this Midoriya? Because this Midoriya, this one's alright, but this Midoriya, this bummy, homemade ass looking Midoriya deserves no love. I should never see it again in my life. Matter of fact, get off my screen. The next hot take we have is Todoroki is a better side character than Bakugo. Now, believe it or not, I don't necessarily disagree with this, as long as you put NG in front of that Todoroki. Now, if we're talking about NG Todoroki, the #1 flame hero Endeavor, then I can see that being a valid hot take. In fact, I wouldn't even disagree with anyone if they were to say Endeavor was better than Bakugo. Honestly, Bakugo, Endeavor, and Shigaraki are honestly fighting for the top 1 spot in My Hero Academia right now. But if we're talking about Shoto Todoroki being better than Bakugo, I mean, I like Shoto, don't get me wrong, but that man's not even cracking the top 5 of the best characters in My Hero Academia. Alright, so the next hot take is Shigaraki is the best new gen antagonist. Yes, 1000% yes. This is not even a hot take. This is a pure fact right now. There is not a single new gen villain that is touching Shigaraki at all. Now, some people might come on here and say, oh, what about Licked? Oh, what about Muzan, Mahito, Sukuna, Granola? No, all of those are wrong. All of those are fighting for second place. Out of all the new gen villains, Shigaraki has the absolute best writing out of all of them. Nobody can touch him. Now, there are a group of people that say Shigaraki is the best new gen antagonist, and I would like to call those people intellectuals, geniuses. And for those people that say Shigaraki is the best new gen antagonist, deserves the sloppiest and wettest of blowjobs. Alright, this next one we got a doozy. It says 1. Best new gen. 2. People underestimate the verse. 3. Just cause the fan base is bad doesn't mean the show is bad. And I don't know how this man done it, but he manages to go 3-0 on this post. My Hero Academia is the best new gen anime. Yes! People underestimate the verse. Yes! And just because the fan base is bad doesn't equate to the show being bad. Yes! Now, while I personally say that My Hero Academia is the best new gen series, there are some exceptions that I will accept as the best new gen. Chainsaw Man, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Eden Zero. People underestimate the verse and death battles. Now, I do realize that My Hero Academia isn't the strongest. In fact, it's more on the weaker side of anime power scaling. In fact, there's a couple of verses that My Hero Academia just absolutely stomps on. Attack on Titan, Hunter x Hunter, and Demon Slayer. There's probably more out there, but I really don't care about power scaling all that much. And the last point really hit home for me. Just because the fan base is bad doesn't mean this show is bad. It always puzzles me how whenever people say My Hero Academia is bad, their first response is, oh, the fan base. And then I always love to tell them, well, tell me how Horikoshi the author can better write the fanbase. But here's the part that really makes those same people look like pencil neck morons. They always reply with, the author doesn't control the fanbase. Do you see what I did there? I just made you look like an idiot because you're saying the show of My Hero Academia is bad because of an external fanbase that the show does not control. That's like me saying, oh, pizza's bad because everyone that eats pizza is a bunch of jerks. You see how stupid that sounds? Like, you see how stupid that sounds? Now, if you were to actually say, oh, I don't really like the writing or the story's bad, then that's a valid point to actually judge My Hero Academia on. But judging it based on the fan base, no, you are just a stupid idiot. Alright, if you guys want me to respond to your hot take, make sure you follow my TikTok. Link for that will be down in the description below. Go follow it right now. But that is the end of the video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe, and share because I know you like this video. And I'm out. Deuces.